right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's the teamwork. It's the teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury everything overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
what can be done to make the society better? You know, as a woman here, you know, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
Hello and welcome to The Advocate. My name is Jack Vincent Fidelis and I'm your host. On the program today, we discuss issues of anti-corruption and issues of accountability in governance. My guest on the program today is Honorable Abdullahi Yusuf. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Jack.
Asian countries are known to be doing very well economically and otherwise. And the reason for this is not far-fetched. It is because they are known to have a very strong and hard stance against corruption and lack of accountability in government. So, how can Nigeria effectively fight corruption so that we can be like the Asian tigers?
Thank you for hosting me. And I think you are very right for this postulation. In fact, if you look at countries like China, like Japan, and other Asian countries that have done well economically and technologically, you will discover that they have a hard stance against corruption. And this hard stance has assisted them very, very well. And it has effectively made them to develop their own countries. I think what Nigeria needs to do is to borrow a leaf from these countries. What is it that they are doing different from our own? Good. Because as we all know, corruption is a worldwide thing. And even though the Asian countries are doing well, but you cannot say they are 100% incorruptible. But they were able to reduce it to some extent, to greater extent, and that has, brought development to their own countries. Good. We need to look at our laws and make it flexible in such a way that it will be easier to prosecute corrupt practices, so that by the time somebody is punished for corruption, you have seen maybe your uncle, your brother, or somebody who you respect is serving a jail term, at least it will serve you as
a deterrent.
A deterrent, and it will make you think that this thing doesn't pay. So,
you see, over the years, Nigeria has been known to be one country where making laws is never a problem. The problem has always been implementation.
Yes.
So, what do you think can actually be done? Because you seem to have spelled out some of the challenges. Yeah. Now, the way forward. What do you think is the way forward? What can government really do?
I think it's
because this law seems to be on ground. It's just that they're not. Nobody is taking things seriously.
Yes. I think we need reorientation generally. We have to think of the future of this nation, the future of our children, the future of those unborn generations, so that whatever we are doing today, we should know that we are leaving a legacy behind for some people to inherit. And since maybe I can say some of us do accuse our previous leaders of, institutionalizing some of these corruptions. And I think it is duty bound on us to make sure that we change the narratives. And how do we do that? we need to reorient ourselves, change our attitudes, change our minds. Let's have patriotism as our watchword, because that is the only way we can curb this issue of corruption.
Thank you very much. You are from Southern Borno.
Yes.
I want to believe you are an authority when it comes to developmental issues in that part of the state. So, I want you to tell our viewer what you believe the state is doing, okay, to develop human capacity and to ensure infrastructural development in Southern Borno.
Well, this government is just about 30 days or so old.
Okay.
So I don't think it is matured enough for us to start making judgments.
No,
but
we're not making judgments.
What I will say is that, of course,
the government has had a policy statement.
Yeah.
30, what they call it?
Okay. So in that direction, I was part of the entourage of His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum when he visited some local governments, especially Howell and Bio.
Good.
And he made a very, very remarkable outing there. There are some issues as regard to, reconstruction and reconstruction of places like Kojafa, which he visited, and he gave a standing order that the work they should try as much as possible to conclude the work as soon as. Then,
what work is going on in Kojafa?
Reconstruction of residential houses, schools, and hospitals.
Okay, good.
Yes, and there is also, he visited one of the highlights of his visit was the one he paid to government secondary school Sakwa. This is a school that was established in 1974, I think. But since then, the school has not received any attention, not even a painting. And when he visited the school...
But has the school been in session all these years?
Definitely. Since
but just
then,
abandoned by government?
It was abandoned.
Okay.
And thankfully, when he visited the school, he ordered for immediate commencement of rehabilitation of the entire structure and remodeling of this school. That is a very, very step in the right direction. I can say some of the schools in the southern Borno have not seen or have not gotten the required attention. Likewise, Government Comprehensive Secondary School Wakabi. Since the establishment of that school, there has never been any renovation until the last administration. Okay. Almost about 40 years of the existence of the school, nothing has been done there.
Why do you think this is so? Is it the corruption and lack of accountability in the system? Is it that there has never been any government that have made policies to affect these things?
Well, the challenges are enormous. You understand?
What are these challenges?
Over the years, I can say during the military regime, much attention has not been paid to these educational institutions until the coming, and even after the coming of the democracy. I think the only time, like Wakabi, the only time it was rehabilitated, it was during the last administration.
Okay.
And I don't want to start pointing fingers at some people because I don't want to create problem. But definitely, I have high hope that His Excellency will do everything possible to make sure that he bridges the gap of infrastructural deficit that we have in Southern Borno. And I have the belief that he will do it. He will make us proud.
Thank you very much. The program is The Advocate, in case you are just joining us. My guest is Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi, who has been doing justice to the topic. Sir, what role can the people play to fight corruption and to have good leaders?
I think just like the definition of democracy, that it is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It is the people's right to make sure that whoever governs them is doing the right thing. We don't have to just sit down, silently. We know that, of course, if we know somebody who is engaged in any corrupt practices, as a citizen, it is duty bound on us to report such person. But unfortunately, most of us, the citizens, always look at corruption maybe only at the level of government. But we have corruption almost everywhere. Even in private businesses, you see so much of our attitudes are corrupt. We have corruption tendencies in almost most of our activities, and it is not just limited to government, running of government alone. So as citizens, we have to wake up. We have to open our eyes. Where something wrong is going on, we have to say it. We have to talk, and where somebody is doing the right thing, we have to praise the person. We have to encourage the person so that the person can do more.
Thank you very much. Well, it's at this point that I want to say to our viewers, if you've had a great time listening to us so far, then stay tuned. When we return from the break, we have more to discuss.
Right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's the teamwork. It's the teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury everything overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
What can be done to make the society better? As a woman here, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
You are welcome back to the program. My guest, Honorable Yusuf Abdullahi, is somebody I can refer to without mincing words as a political juggernaut, so to speak, somebody who is from the southern Borno and knows all we need to know about that part of the state. Sir, you see, southern Borno is believed to be a place that is blessed with human and natural resources. In fact, an abundance of it.
Definitely.
Thank you very much. So, are the human and natural resources in southern Borno commensurate with the level of development in that part of the state?
I will say no.
Okay.
To be frank.
We would like you to elaborate.
Yes. I will say no in the sense that, of course, as development comes, as we progress, I think we need much of, attention, especially in this education sector, in the road, in the agricultural sector, the road sectors, and other sectors that affect our human existence. If you look at southern Borno for now, in terms of roads, we have the worst road network you can call in the whole of Northeast. We always see Biu as the headquarters of the southern Borno, and all roads that link to that local government are in very, very unfortunate state.
I don't know if the security problem has anything to do with attention on the road by government.
To some extent, yes.
Okay.
Because the federal government has awarded the construction of Biu-Damaturu Road.
Okay.
And in the past 8 years, though I cannot blame it completely on security, because the road, the award of that contract was from Biu to the border of our border with Yobe State, and from that our border to Damaturu.
Okay.
The two sections were awarded to two different companies.
Okay.
And luckily for the Yobe section, they have completed it, I think, almost 2 years ago, which is the same route. But unfortunately, the Borno section, I don't think they have done up to even 10 kilometers up to now. And
so when contractors default like this, whose duty is it to hold them accountable?
we have shouted on top of our voice, and I think we will still, as citizens, call on our members in the National Assembly that they should please investigate this issue. Because if a contract has been awarded and the work has not been done or is not being done as it should be, I think it is the duty of our legislators who are representing us, who have the right, or who have the constitutional right of oversight over these government agencies. They should please make sure that these roads are completed. Biu-Gombe Road also has been awarded, I think 2 years ago. But up till now, as I'm talking to you, nothing has started yet.
Because I'm sure they can't blame that one on security.
On security.
Yeah.
And thankfully, or one good news that I will tell our people from Southern Borno is that His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum has taken responsibility of repairing Biu-Garkida Road. That is from Biu
to Garkida. Okay.
I think very soon the work will commence.
I don't know if that is what they call a federal road.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is a federal road. But because of the bad nature of the road, the governors deem it fit that the state government will have to take responsibility of constructing the road.
That's laudable.
Yes. So, beside roads, we still need, because like in Biu, I will say all the 9 primary schools we have in Biu are now in good condition. Yes.
And they are in session.
They are in session. But if you go to other local government, some of the places in our rural communities, you understand, we are still having challenges with classrooms, chairs and other necessities that a school can need to be called a school.
It's really sad that decades after decades after decades, these infrastructures are not in place.
Yes.
It shows that the people or the powers that be lack conscience to a very large extent.
We spent larger chunk of our time under the military rule.
Yeah.
Which I think, to some extent, I will blame them for the decay of these infrastructures. Because
1999 to this time is like 20 years, 2 decades.
Yes, yeah, of course.
The last time the military were seen around was over 20 years ago.
Yes.
So I don't know if we want to be bringing the military into our discussion now.
Why I'm saying this because if 20 years ago our schools have gotten the attention they should have gotten, at least by now we will have gone very far.
That's true.
Notwithstanding, I'm still not, exempting our political leaders. That is from 1999 to date.
Yeah.
Most of the administrations, we know what happened, and if we start talking now, they will see it from partisan angle. But unfortunately, I think it is high time that we start separating politics from development. These are things that is necessary for our children, for our generations, and the generation unborn to thrive on.
Okay.
If we didn't put, or if we fail to put these things in order, definitely our children and grandchildren
will suffer.
Will suffer
as a result,
and they will definitely blame us.
That's true, and that's one thing we don't want.
Yes.
So it is because of that I want to say, from everything you've said so far, our political leaders in Nigeria, I'm not restricting it to Borno State now, generally, and from your experience as a politician, are political leaders in Nigeria held accountable for their actions and inaction in all sincerity?
I will say yes and no.
Okay. Probably you want to elaborate.
Yes, because we have seen where some leaders have been, prosecuted for their failures.
Yeah.
And we have seen also where some leaders who ought to be in prison are still walking around free.
That's true.
You understand? Yeah. So I think much need to be done in this regard. Because if we don't have strong penalties, if we don't have strong condemnation for our bad actions, then we are transferring it to the next generation, which is unhealthy for our country, and it will not yield us any positive result. There is, of course, need for, as I said earlier, societal reorientation. We have to wake up, enlighten our people. Let's understand that corruption will not yield us any positive result. Whatever you get as a way or in a corrupt way, definitely it will, you will either consume it or your children will squander it. But your name will forever remain in a bad book.
Record, yeah.
And I don't think you will be happy if maybe in the future your name is mentioned as a corrupt person to your grandchildren. I know they will feel embarrassed about it. So there is need for all of us to change our attitudes. Let's work towards the success of our government. Let's take patriotism as our watchwords. Let's imbibe the culture of, community development. Let's not wait for government to do everything for us. We know that government has very scarce resources. And so many sectors need the attention of government. But there are things we can do for ourselves. And I think we should always encourage ourselves to do so.
I want to say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program.
You're most welcome.
I want to say also that I've been impressed by your outing.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
So if in future we have need to bring you back, I hope you will oblige us with your presence.
Definitely, always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, that is the much we can take on the program, The Advocate, for this week. If you've had a nice time being with us, why not do it again? Same time, same station next week. Until then, so long.